What's going on, guys? Today we had the opportunity to sit down with LaWanda Haynes. LaWanda Haynes is a marriage counselor and a life transformation coach. It was a great conversation, great vibes, positive energy.
We had the opportunity to talk about a range of topics going from relationships, marriage, kids, divorce, and all the good and bad that comes with the definition of love. So, in the spirit of love, as we've been carrying it on this month, we are excited for y'all to watch. Stay tuned and enjoy.
Guys, we are here on another episode of Exotic Talk. Today we have the opportunity to sit down with LaWanda Haynes. LaWanda, would you like to present yourself to the audience?
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm so excited to be here. My name's LaWanda Haynes. I am a licensed professional counselor. I am also a life transformation coach.
Okay.
And I work with individuals, both male and female, and couples, pre-married and married.
Okay.
Yes.
So, would you say your focus is marriage?
I love my couples.
Yes.
I believe in marriage. I think every marriage can heal and every marriage can work if we have the right tools in place.
100%.
What are those tools?
Oh, it's emotional regulation. It is grit, really. A lot of people talk about grit and fortitude for getting things done, but relationships take grit and fortitude, and definitely intentionality.
Okay. Because you ask anybody and everybody says that communication is always key. Mm-hmm. That's the main generic universal answer. Mm-hmm. But why is it so hard for people to communicate?
Okay.
Or I guess as far as couples or even in general, like if I were to be talking to Joab, mm-hmm. right, it's really hard for people to communicate their emotions, what's going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
Why is it so hard for people?
It is so hard. Communication it's so vulnerable, right? When you get a couple, and we all think we know how to do it.
Right.
That's the biggest issue with communication, mm-hmm. is we all think that we're communicating. 100%. But how many times I could say to you, Julio, it makes me feel ignored when you're on your phone and I'm talking to you. And then Julio might say something like, I'm not rude. I didn't say you were rude. I said I feel ignored. Right? So it's what makes communication so hard is we tend to listen, but we're not really paying attention. So we might respond out of something that we made up.
Yeah.
I filled in the gap, like in that instance, it would be you filling in the gap. Instead of responding to what I said, you responded to what you understood.
Mm. It's almost as if you're planning the response instead of actually receiving the information.
Right, exactly.
And I can definitely attest to that sometimes because, and I mean, this can lead into a lot of things, but do you feel age is a factor in that?
Actually, I'm going to say no.
Really?
I'm going to say no. I think it's probably been handed down over the generations and it's gotten worse and worse. Mm-hmm. But we're not very good at talking about, you mentioned feelings. We're not good at talking about feelings. How many times do you hear someone say, I feel like you didn't do that right?
Yeah.
Well, I feel should be followed by an emotion word. But what we'll do is we'll say, I feel, and then give you a thought.
Well, that's true. Almost as a prediction instead of the actual result. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So here you have couples that come in the room and they're like, well, and they'll start throwing accusations, but they'll dress them up as feelings. So I'm talking about how you're making me feel, but what I'm doing is pointing out what you're doing wrong. And that's not going to create connection. That creates defense. Because what are you going to say? Mm-hmm. Well, I have to check my phone because they're texting. It's work. I have to be connected because it's work. Well, that may be true, but it still makes me feel lonely.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Okay.
Do you feel like there has to be some sort of vulnerability when it comes to having these conversations?
Oh,
and to follow up with that, why do you feel as humans or even just in relationships or like you said, just with friendships as well, but we can't reach that? Why do you think it's an ego thing?
No, it's a fear thing.
What?
It's absolutely a fear thing. It's self-protection. If I start telling you how I feel and you criticize the way I feel, now I feel rejected. Right? Yeah. That I'm giving you me. When I say, I feel lonely when we're here together and you're texting, or I feel ignored when we're here together and you're texting, what if you respond to me and say, gosh, you're so needy. You need so much attention.
That's fair.
Right? Now I feel attacked and inadequate and needy when all it is a healthy relationship. You want attention.
But okay, so this is great because I want to lean into just how everything has changed throughout the years, right? Because I feel like communication, though, in my point of view, exponentially over the years, it has improved when you look at marriages, but to some extent as well, right? Because I've talked and had conversations with my grandmother, right? And so she sometimes shares stories, back in the 60s where my grandpa would call her out on something and she didn't even feel open to say anything. She just said, no, you're right. And she would bottle up those feelings, right? So where do you think we're headed now in the next couple of years? Or where do you think we're at now when it comes to just that pride and also improving our communication? And where do you think the ideal relationship needs to be at in terms of communication to be successful?
Okay. I love that you asked where do I think we're at now? I think the younger generation, and I say younger, I'm talking about you all.
No, yeah.
I'm talking about you all because I'm like, I'm in my 50s, right? So you all are very conscious about image and
way more than before.
Yeah.
Way more.
And very protective of the ego. Not that ego is I don't mean ego in the sense of pride and, just unteachable. I'm just talking about the sense of self and identity. Very sensitive to how you come across. Yeah. And so to feel like you have to protect that, or you're very sensitive to a criticism, right? Like I'm trying to put my best self forth. And so for someone to communicate to you that they have an issue or something you've done has made them feel a certain way, instead of really taking it from their experience, you tend to look at how it's affecting you. Yeah. Like, what does that mean about me?
And it's more common than you think. Yeah. It's pretty crazy,
Yeah, almost every relationship. Yeah. That I know. Yeah. I would say. What do you think is the best form of communication? Because, we could sit here all day and talk about, our feelings and how you make me feel, how you, whatever you do to me or what I do to you. But what's honestly the best form of communication when you're wanting to express yourself to your partner?
I had a friend, and just because I want to add to that point, where he would laugh at me because I told him, yeah, I have weekly checkpoints with my girlfriend. I try to see how she's feeling that week. I try to make sure we're on good terms. And he laughed because he compared it to a performance review. He said, you're having a performance review for your girlfriend? Like really? Like, I don't think that's necessary.
That wasn't me, by the way.
No. And hence my point where I guess it's to piggyback off that question, like, do you think communication is a daily thing or something that needs to be mixed in on a weekly basis, or what's your approach with it?
Okay, so let me just share with you that my husband and I, we have our weekly checkpoints, right?
Awesome. Okay.
We just came from a marriage conference, and the pastor and first lady, they talked about their Talk Tuesdays. Oh, okay. Right? They have their weekly checkpoints. You're like miles ahead of, I think, of your age group, right? So it can be a little bit like a performance review. Because how do we get better? Feedback helps us to get better, right? How do we get our needs met if we don't talk about them? So what you're doing is you're checking in on the relationship to see how we're doing in that space. And when couples come to me, especially distressed couples, the first assignment one of the first assignments they're going to get, it's a daily dialogue. Daily dialogue. We're checking in. What did you like about the relationship today? What didn't you like, or what are you struggling with in the relationship today? How can I help you? How can I serve you better?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. It's just 3 questions, very, very short, but you're talking about the relationship.
How do you believe that, or how would you deal with a person who would be against that? Would that tell you more about them with you, or?
Well,
because there's people that they get stuck in their ways,
Yeah. Well, in psychology, what we call that is resistance. Let's just talk about it. Why are you against it? What's making you uncomfortable about having that conversation? It's 3 very easy questions, right? Let's talk about what is it bringing up for you? And a lot of times people, again, We're not very good at emotional language, especially men,
Agreed.
right? That emotional language is vulnerable.
Yeah, it is.
You see me when I talk about how I'm experiencing you or anything around me, right? So what's making you uncomfortable? And a lot of times to ask you, what are some of the thoughts you're having about doing that 3-question dialogue with your spouse every day? Well, I think it's dumb. Well, tell me more about it. Well, I just think, why would we spend that time? We're spending the day together and we're doing this or that. So just get them talking about what the thoughts are can help you understand what the resistance, like what the feeling is behind it. And then just helping you find the language for that.
Yeah.
And making it okay for you to have that language, right?
Yeah.
Because so often we're scared to talk about our feelings. Again, because if you attack the way I feel, you're attacking me as a person.
Yeah.
I need to ask you, like, and then I know it might be a little bit of a brief parentheses, but what are the common responses that you get from the men who are resistant to that type of daily dialogue? I'm curious because I'm the type of person that I'm very open, and it's just because I was raised by only women, so like they were always very open, and hey, you have to speak up, you have to be very vulnerable. So I've always wondered, like, what are some of the reasoning for that?
Okay, so it could go. There's 2 extremes because you think when you come from an abusive family, there's going to be a certain type of look, right? And then you think if you come from a loving, well-adjusted family, it's going to look different. But you can actually have the same problems coming from both back from the right. So in one family, it could have been unsafe to talk about my feelings because they're like, if you don't stop crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
Hey,
Right?
yeah.
Like every parent, like my parents right now are apologizing for that sentence because I heard it too,
I'll be
right?
scared of them.
Yeah.
And I'll just
Like-
shut down.
Yeah, suck it up or I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah.
And you just shut off. And so as a child, you internalize that to mean I'm not supposed to have emotions because emotions are bad.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you're in this loving family who like they're all about the emotions, but then you're so dramatic. Right?
Yeah.
Why do you have to be so dramatic?
Yeah.
Same exact response. Shut it down. Emotions are bad because then they're going to think I'm dramatic, even though they tried to tell me it was okay to emote.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain threshold for emoting.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 100%.
I want to expand on this same topic, but I want to expand on it. What do you tell people when they're struggling with a partner that's just not able to open up? Like they're just shut down, like you said, or they just don't even want to put in the effort to try to communicate.
Yeah. When they're afraid to open up, there's something in you that's making them feel unsafe. Either they feel like if I share my imperfections, they're going to know that I'm imperfect and they think I'm perfect.
That's true.
So you're thinking, you making them feel like they're the greatest on earth. If there's that internal imposter thing going on, the minute they find out I'm not the greatest on earth, they're out of here.
Ooh, and this is great. This is great. I'm glad you brought this up because I was gonna hold this question till the end, but I mean, you're bringing this right in. So, where do you think? And okay, I want to make sure I word this right. So I have it right here. But do you think it's just a fear of the possibility of that relationship finishing off because of that, or having
ending?
Yeah.
If they find out who I really am.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, in the beginning, you're always going to put your best foot forward. Most of the time, that could lead on for sometimes even years. And you'll never show that vulnerability side. And I caught myself in that instance at one point. And I remember when I did end up showing my true self, it took a complete toll.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So it can be that could happen, but it happens when you're trying to self-protect. Like if you just be who you are from day one, and it's not like just throw all my stuff on the table on the first date. That's not what. But just show up authentically as who you are, right? And when you start feeling uncomfortable about the conversation or something comes up and you're like, I don't want to say too much yet, just check in with yourself. Why?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
what is it? Do I feel like they're going to maybe be turned off by that? Do I feel like they might use it? Are they are they appearing like the kind of person that's going to bring it back up and throw it in my face later? Like, what's the hesitation? Check in with you first. And then part of building trust is it's generosity, right?
Yeah.
Thinking the most generous of them. So just offer it. One thing that, because it's all about building trust.
Yeah.
So one thing that I like to tell people is Brene Brown. Are you familiar with her work at all? She's a researcher.
No.
So she's done this. She's got this acronym for building trust called BRAVING.
Okay.
And her story around how we build trust, everybody talks about wanting it and needing it in relationships, but we don't really know how to define it. So BRAVING is the acronym with all the elements. It's 7 elements of trust.
Okay. What are they?
They are boundaries. So, you respect mine. If you're unclear, you ask. Reliability, you do what you say you're going to do, be where you say you're going to be. Accountability, if you did it, own it, right? Braving, vault. If I share with you my emotions out of vulnerability, you can never bring it up and throw it in my face. The minute you do that, trust is eroded. You are unsafe, right? So vault, I want to say integrity. Choosing, yes, that's what it is. So choosing what's right over what's comfortable, right?
Okay.
Your girl sees you across town, or a friend sees you across town with another woman. You went to lunch with a colleague. You know that your girlfriend's jealous, and she starts asking some questions. The right thing to do is own it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to lunch. Yeah, that was me. You're right. Your friend saw me. That was me at the taco bar with that girl with the blonde hair. Yes, it's Shelly from work. Right? Like, just own it. It was innocent, so just own it. N is non-judgment. So I can be honest with my feelings, and you're not going to judge me for feeling that way. You too can be open with your feelings, because you're allowed to feel what you feel. Right? What you feel doesn't have anything it doesn't mean anything about me.
Yeah.
It's your experience of me, right? And then G, the generosity. So that's kind of where I started.
Wow, okay.
Giving them the benefit of the doubt is what they used to say when I don't know what you guys say.
Yeah.
Okay. Give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, like instead of thinking the worst, just think the best.
Believe
Possible
the best about them.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then leaning onto that as well, because this is something that I wanted to tap into, is that a lot of the times in relationships, I've seen that there's a lack of accountability, right? Sometimes I've seen relationships, and my relationship has been in that instance before, where it's almost like your partner is a validation box for you. Everything you do, they're like, yeah, I support you. Whatever you do, I'm right there. The moment they hold you accountable to, oh, you said you were going to do this, but you didn't do it, or you're not doing this, it's almost like you feel attacked, like your character. So do you think it's better one or the other? I mean, where's your approach with that?
Needing validation from your mate is going to be a problem, because now you've made them responsible for your okayness. And that's a weight that's not a healthy relationship balance, right? Should we dote on our man? Absolutely. I am a believer. Every woman, you need to make him feel like Superman, right? Yes. Should he make you feel like the best thing that's ever walked the planet? Absolutely.
Okay.
But should my confidence and my presence and my day, my mood be affected by getting that validation from you? It shouldn't. It's just too much, because every relationship is going to go through those seasons where you're like, yeah, we're in love, and I've been married to my husband for 27 years. Have we been friends for 27 years? Have we liked each other every day for 27 years? No, there were whole seasons where we're like,
and I really appreciate,
Lord help me with this, right?
Yeah.
Like, because there are seasons where you're like, we're not friends right now. But we know we're in love. We know we have each other's best interests at heart. Really deep down, we know this. We're just at a place right now where we're not seeing eye to eye on something, and we're working through it.
Why do you think people take the jump then in those moments?
Because they think, I think the reason people jump ship is they lose faith in commitment, right? And you don't want to do the work. Like if I don't believe doing this is going to get me the result, I'm not going to put in the work.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
I don't believe he's ever going to change. So why am I going to put in the work? If I believe he can change, but something's in the way and I don't understand that, then I have patience for it.
Yeah. But do you think that thought is an inner dialogue, or is it more of a factual base because of certain actions majority of the time? Because you can only tell so much. You don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't know. And I think maybe that's where people go wrong too, is you have this little window of evidence, right? Like your exposure is only limited. We've only been dating for 6 months, and here it is. He's popping the question to spend the rest of my life with him.
That's
another topic,
right?
Yeah.
So you're like, what do I even have to go on in terms of history and record? Well, what you have is, have we been authentic? Have we been building trust? And a question you asked a couple of rounds ago when I was talking about generosity, it's we build trust in those 7 elements one day at a time. Like Brene Brown says, you're building trust like a marble jar, one marble at a time. Right? And so in 6 months, if that marble jar only has like 10 marbles in the bottom of it, you guys haven't really y'all been having fun, but have you really been building a relationship?
Let me ask you this. Based off what you just said, I'm going to bring something up that this new, or I guess our generation would say. Do you believe when people bring up the phrase of, I could find somebody in 6 months and that's the love of my life, when I just got out of a relationship that's lasted me 5 years? Like, what about those cases where they find somebody new in less than a time and everything works out?
So here's I think it can happen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I told you I believe all things married. I believe that can happen. But here's the thing: you've been in this relationship for 5 years. You have 5 years of experience identifying who you are, what you want, what your needs are, how you expect those needs to be met. You probably have developed some emotional intelligence, so you can, and language, right? So you know how to communicate what you for all things here. You're ready. You know what you're looking for. Right. So you find it, and you're like, this is different from that. Or maybe it starts out this is how that started out. This is how it used to be, but you saw what happened then and how it morphed. Yeah. So now you can do some things different this time, right? So in 6 months, you're just checking to see if this could be the thing for real based on the 5-year history.
But then it poses the question, because there's a lot of people here, or not here, but like there's a lot of relationships where one of the partners, one of the main reasons they are in a relationship is the fear of being alone. Okay, there's a lot of people who, and you ask them and they don't even know what type of partner they want. And then in the long run, they end up splitting because, I ended up finding out that they weren't the person for me. But they were together 10, 15 plus years. So why do you think a lot of people step into the relationship knowing that they don't know who they are, knowing that they don't know what they want?
To your point, fear of being alone, that's a real thing. And here, the healthiest relationships are 2 whole people coming together to make a whole relationship. When you have the fear of being alone, you're not a whole person, right? You feel like there's something lacking in you that you can't be okay without being attached to someone. So what part of your identity is missing then that you're looking for someone else to bring to you?
If you were to have 2 people who aren't full or aren't whole, do you think they can make it work?
If they are self-aware people. Right? You have to be self-aware. I recognize now that there's something putting pressure on our relationship. Like people that come to us and they're like, we're thinking about getting married, but we just want to make sure we're ready for that. And then they just talk about some of the things that they love about the relationship. And then you get them talking about some things that they find are problematic for them. Right? let's stick with what's problematic, what's going on there, and then you can get to some of those beliefs like I don't know, it's better to have someone than to be alone, and even though she or he is not perfect and ideally what I wanted, and maybe they didn't know what they wanted when they started the relationship, that's why they got into it, but as they're progressing, they're like, I wish some things were different, but and you stay with it, right? Because you're like, well, maybe.
But is it worth it? I mean, is it worth it with that maybe?
It's only worth it if we're having that conversation and we're moving towards one goal.
Yeah.
We're moving towards one vision. The minute you find out that the visions are separate or like you have unmet needs and there's some concern that they can meet the need, those conversations need to start.
What if only one of the sides or one side is only putting all the effort?
Imagine being married to someone that you have to do all the work in the relationship.
It's draining.
You're going to be exhausted.
Exactly.
And then you're going to wake up one day pissed off.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to be upset about it.
Yeah.
And that's where resentment and bitterness comes in. You're like, I've always worked harder than you in the relationship. You've never cared for me. You know, you're all about you. I do this, do this, do this. And you're just selfish, and now you're just hurling all the names. Mm-hmm. You're selfish. You don't care about, but they've been who they are.
And you know.
And you never. The assumption that I'm making is you never let them know you needed something more. You just continuously accommodated, or continuously. I call it erasing yourself. You continuously just compromise until you get one day and you're like, I don't even know who I am anymore.
Is it fair to say that, I mean, there's different types of love languages. Mm-hmm. So is it fair to bring that up to your partner, to what you were saying about, oh, you don't do this, but maybe the other side, they're thinking in their head, wait, but I've shown you love this way.
Oh, that's such a rich question. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've gotten that plenty of times.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because if my love language is quality time, I just want to spend time with you, and you're giving me your language, which is, I don't know, acts of kindness, acts of service. So I come over and like I'm washing the dishes and I'm helping do things, like I'm doing things for you, and I think that that's speaking love, but you're like, you're so busy, we didn't even sit down and talk.
That's so true. And that's
so how do you balance that? How do you
pay attention to what lights them up, right? So you guys are 25. Mm-hmm. Any children?
No.
Okay, so when you have children, what you have to do is understand what makes them feel loved. I feel like it's easy with kids, right? Because you give them a toy and maybe they're okay with the toy, but they then come sit next to you on the couch and they just want you to watch Big Bird with them.
That's true.
So his love language is, quality time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You give her something over there, and then you're like, hey, we're going to watch Cinderella. And she's like, no, I'm over here with the thing. Hers is, gifts.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the way.
So it's the same with our mates. Like, what are they wanting to do? Is it she always wants to go do something? Like, we have to go to the movie. We have to go bowling. We got to go axe throwing. She always wants to do a thing. Mm-hmm. It's that time, it's that adventure, it's building the memories, having the experience. That's a level of intimacy that's being built. Is it, no, she would just always wants to talk,
But you have to be cognizant. You have to be cognizant, because a lot of the times you can fall into the trap of you just don't even know your partner, And I feel like, so just a little bit about me. So I've been in my relationship since high school. I've been 8 years now. And obviously, like, going from teenagers to young adults and even now entering that adult phase, you go through a lot of different chapters, and then there's even points in time where you can look at your partner and it's, you're still the person that I met before, but you're just completely different. And it's okay, because like, that's just how life changes you. And I guess with that point is, you have to be aware on a day-to-day basis. Like, you have to be looking out for that. And I think a lot of people just don't, they just, do you ever feel like life gets too busy, or is life getting too busy an excuse for that?
if life getting too busy is the excuse for the pressure on your relationship, life is going to kill your relationship. Right. Look, when people come sit in front of me, sometimes I'm sitting with them and we are doing an inventory of, what are the rituals? Where are the areas of connection? When couples say we're so busy and they're chasing careers, one of the things I'll ask you is, do you want your career to sleep in the bed with you at night? Is it going to keep you warm? Is it who you want to spend the rest of your life with? Or is it your mate? Because if your career is always taking priority over your mate, what you're communicating to them is they're not as important as whatever that thing. Like it could be another woman, it could be a job. It feels like a level of infidelity, right?
100%.
Like I have to share you with this and be okay with it. So striking that balance, it takes work.
It does take work.
And this is where intentionality comes in. We can both be bosses. I can be a CEO and you could be a CEO, right? But we have to have togetherness. We have to have moments where we're together and no cell phones are going off. Yeah. And, we're undivided attention, not trying to have a conversation over here with, my EA is texting and then I'm going to have a couple of bites of food. And then, you have to have those sacred spaces where you are allowed to be. You don't have to be the boss. You can actually be vulnerable. You cannot have all the answers. I don't know, something about the house or just to be human, right? And I kind of lost touch with what the question was, but you said something about just high school sweethearts. That whole, you guys fell in love and then went through life transition.
Yeah.
And
that transition is tough. I'll tell you. Yeah.
It is. But that's marriage. That's life together with someone. Because what you're doing is you're having shared vision. I want y'all to alignment and shared vision.
I'm going to that next.
That's the heart of this thing, right? Yeah. Because we have to agree that we're going in the same direction and we want the same things. But we also have to understand we are very much individuals with our own dreams, our own goals, and give each other permission to grow into who we're going to become. But we're going to do it together.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, look, okay. So I'm going to break this down in the best way possible because there's something that I've been trying to focus on, not in my relationship, but that I've been listening to a lot of. But there's a comparison between chemistry versus vision / your future goals, right? And how vital those two go hand in hand, because sometimes you can get along so well with your partner. And I mean, you complement each other in the best way. You like the same movies, or you listen to the same music, or you can just sit down, be in silence, and it's the best moment ever. But the unfortunate thing is that maybe your future goals don't align with theirs, or your vision that you have for yourself is just not something that you could see with them. Do you feel like that's something that is worth to consider to step away, or is something that you should really focus on, like, okay, no, we can make it work?
It's a decision, right? It's just a decision. I say that all the time. It's just a decision. Because I understand chemistry, and one thing about chemistry is sometimes relationships don't make it because they're like, if it's not easy, then it wasn't meant to be.
That's exactly my point. Right. Yeah, they think that it's like you have to have that love story. Yeah. Like it's perfect. And everything's
exactly. Perfect. It's a very romanticized approach to relationship. So conflict then means we're not compatible. Having different dreams for ourselves means we're not going to make it. Like you just make all these things mean something because it should be easy and we should want the same things in life. And not only wanting the same things in life, that's only true to a certain extent. Okay. Like wanting kids. Well, if we're talking about long-term relationship, that's kind of important. Yeah, right? Like, so yeah, we should either want them or not, or be open to adoption or not, or in that space. Money, I mean, we all want a lot of money, right? But I want to be a philanthropist, or, I just want to be going on vacations and dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's all about
A decision.
You know, what space money takes up for me in this. What else for relationships? So it's the children, it's money, it is career goals. If you want to be in a career where, I mean, pilots are married too.
Yeah.
But pilots are out of the house how often?
Yeah, all the time.
Right?
Yeah,
All the time.
yeah.
So it's can we still stay connected? Can we still raise our family? Can we still build this life together, even knowing that distance is going to be a part of who we are?
100%.
Right.
What about, and I'm going to throw this into the mix, what about family? A lot of people say you marry into the family.
Oh, absolutely.
So you agree?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me say disclaimer. Yeah. I'm a military dependent.
Okay.
So it was four. I have a brother and my parents. It was four of us. We moved every 3 to 6 years.
Oh, okay.
No fail. Without fail. We were moving all the time. So all we had was each other, right? And then my dad and my mom both come from large families, like 11 siblings.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A piece.
Mm-hmm.
I got like all the aunties and uncles, right? Mm-hmm. So, but they instilled in us that family, like that blood runs thicker than water.
Yeah.
Right? And so family is a huge deal for us. If the breach happens, you find a way to fix it. Like, you just accept that Uncle Joe is rude, disrespectful, and crazy, but we're going to love him. We're going to invite him. We're going to be in his presence anyway, right? That's family. Now, when you marry someone or you're seriously dating, start paying attention to their family dynamics, because what they know about family is what they're going to bring to your relationship.
Oh my God, I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
No, I like this.
Yeah, so my beliefs about roles and responsibilities. If you notice the men in that family don't work and they don't clean and they always want to be eaten and they always want you to pick up all the things, best believe he is going to get there. If he's not there right now, he's going to get there because that was the model. So y'all should talk about it. Right? Like, I've noticed this in your family. If you notice that all the women in her family require the top down and the 5-carat diamond and they don't want to work after they have kids, like, start talking about it. If that's not what you want, right? If you noticed that there are no men in her family, it's all women. Everybody's divorced. Everybody's either divorced or they just have kids with no men around. Talk about it. What is it that you understand about men? Because she might, she might not even understand that this belief is there, but if you ask her about her relationship history and she starts talking about some things, subconsciously, she might believe that men leave. Yeah. If I believe that men leave, then I'm going to sabotage a good thing, even if you are a great man, because I don't believe you're going to stay with me.
I feel like that's going on now. I feel like that happens so often now in today's society. Yeah. Why do you think it's so hard for people to date now?
I think it's so hard for people to date now because, unfortunately, the people before us didn't do a good job of modeling healthy relationships.
I agree.
Right?
We actually talked about this not too long ago because I have someone close to me where they've been together 50 plus years and there's been instances of infidelity, and so it's like they still stayed, so I can relate with that.
Yeah. And so we're learning, right? Mm-hmm. We learn what we're taught, but we also learn what we see.
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
Yes.
Right. And so if we have seen, my mom stayed in a marriage for 50 years and you said your grandmother was like, okay, you're right. And she would just stuff her emotions.
Yeah.
If I saw that as a young woman and I don't want to stuff my emotions, I want to have an opinion, I'm not going to get married. Because in my mind, that's what marriage is.
Yeah, 100%. That's so true.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you go the exact opposite. And so now you're like, I am going to get married, but it's not going to be like grandma's marriage. So the minute my man tells me something that he disagrees with about me, I'm leaning in. You're not going to take away my, I have the right to want this or expect this, and now it's all combative and defensive.
Yeah.
When really all it needed to be was a conversation.
Yeah. Simple.
Yeah.
Right? It's a simple thing.
Yeah, she's reacting to you.
Yeah.
But yet she's reacting to her grandfather, and you don't even know. She's talking to me, but she's reacting to her granddad.
To her history, to her trauma.
Right. So that's why it's hard.
And it's crazy because I catch that. I right now I'm in a relationship, and it's about to be a year in April. And obviously I've had like past relationships, right? But I've noticed that so much. Let me ask you this, because there's another topic that's going around in today's society as well. I guess as far as, I'll put it in a question. What's the difference between having high standards versus expectations?
And just like, do you believe that your partner is a direct reflection of those standards that you have for yourself?
I think that your partner is a reflection of what you believe, whether you're saying it or not. Right? We're going to draw in and be drawn to what our backstories are telling us. Right? The subconscious thought is, we're not even aware that it's there. Like, I'm not going to be silenced in my relationship. Like those things are, no one's ever going to be the boss of me. Like that's playing back there. And so it's going to be reflective in the kind of person that you connect to. I don't really, this is a big, that's kind of a big topic. But I do believe that,
and I can give you an example. Maybe it makes it easier. So, so Vogue, they released an article recently, right? I hope I don't mess this up, but I think it's the name of the article was something along the lines of having a boyfriend is embarrassing. That was the name of the article. Okay.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
What was the premise?
Okay. And the premise was what I'm talking about, where how they were comparing how some women, they'll be with men that, they're not present, or they're abusive, or their standards for themselves, and we're talking about the man here, are so low where it just directly correlates with what the woman wants for herself, right? They're saying that having a boyfriend is embarrassing if you have the wrong man. So hence my point, like they're putting in that box where, oh yeah, your man is that way, so I can only imagine the standards that you have for yourself, the expectation that you have for yourself. Oh, your man is out there going out every single weekend by himself. That's like
I understand. Okay, I get it.
So hence my point.
I think it's imbalanced.
Okay.
To some degree, who you date is going to be a reflection, again, of what you believe. It is a reflection of how you see yourself or what you see yourself worthy of.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But you have to be careful. That's a fine line, because your behavior, your choices, your actions are not a reflection of me.
Oh, okay.
They're a reflection of you, right? I can't control that, right? So it's almost like saying I'm responsible for every decision my children ever make in life because I raised them.
Good comparison.
That's a lot of parents have that belief.
And that's just not true. Like I put in them I put in them characteristics. I do the heart shaping. I build their self-concept. I have a role in that, right? And then I send them into the world, but God has a plan for them. God created them to 100%. Think, feel, and choose the way that they do. I just kind of had some responsibility in shaping it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they have free will.
They are who they are.
Right?
That's
true. They have free will. They are their own person. They are not an extension of me.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes in your relationship, he is his own person. He's not an extension of me. He's still, like, we are together and we have a shared vision and we're moving in the same direction and we see things, and that makes for success. But at the end of the day, he's still his own person.
Yeah. And vice versa.
Right.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Well, Let me bring this, because this might take us a while to discuss.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
Do not move topics. Hold on.
Oh,
I still want to go back to standards versus expectations.
Okay, I just was about to. I was just about to go back to that. There is a whole mindset.
Yes.
Called it's really a thought pattern. Over expectancy. Yes. And what over expectancy says is, because I would show up for a friend in this situation, and I would show up with dinner, and I would show up with tissues, and I would show up this way. If the shoe was on the other foot, they will show up for me in the exact same manner, right? I expect since I think about my man, and it's, Valentine's Day just passed. So
Yeah.
I'm out here and I'm in these streets looking for something that's perfect, and it's going to be a thoughtful gift, and it's going to be something that I think he would really love. And I'm out here doing this. The expectation is when we go to dinner, because Valentine's Day was on Saturday this year.
Yeah.
So like when we go to dinner on Saturday, he's going to come out with something that's thoughtful, and he spent all this time. And so if he pulls out a card and it's like, hey, I thought we would go putt-putt golfing. And you're like, and now it means he doesn't love me, and I'm just not worthy, and I'm not.
I completely. It happens often.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that at all. It
Okay.
means he got you a card and wrote something very meaningful to him.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to share his heart with you and then take you out and spend time with you, because time together is your love language. like that's all it meant.
And then it goes back to the point that we were talking about earlier. Then it's almost as if it goes back to me. It's always you, like the person, like, oh, they should have done it. They should have thought about it. And it goes, like you said, the pride. Like you start thinking that, oh, well, is this really how much they care about me? Is this really so?
Like you're making it mean, you're taking what they said or did and making it mean something based on your lens.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it's really unfair for them, because you're having a whole conversation that they're not invited to, right?
Yeah.
And then making them responsible for that. So that over expectancy just says, because I govern myself this way, and this is my standard that I hold myself to, I expect everybody else to hold themselves to that same standard and govern themselves that way too.
I fall into that sometimes. Yeah. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
And it's not pretty. Like, and I can definitely see how sometimes, yeah, it's one of those where you were raised a specific way. You have these standards, and it's not mimicked, but it's not in a way where you discredit the other person or you feel any less. But it all boils down to you, like you as the person, and not letting it have that correlation where you look at them less because they got you just a card. So
yeah. It's and this is where you get to teach them a little bit, teach them how to love you.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Teach them your love language.
Yeah.
Like, and you can say, you know what, I am feeling a little disappointed that you just got a card and you didn't think to maybe get me something more substantial.
Mm-hmm.
But own it, because once that comes out of your mouth, you're going to have to follow that up with, because in that moment he feels less than.
Yeah. 100%.
He might feel bad.
A lot. Yeah.
You might be doing some damage here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
So now you think, this time I took a step out and got you the card. Next time I'm not doing anything. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to be
That's the
so
fear.
careful.
Yeah, that's
right?
the fear. That's the fear that you just it's tough.
But it's an opportunity. Again, it feels like conflict, but it's an opportunity for deeper understanding and more intimacy.
Yeah.
Baby, I wasn't trying to hurt you. I really felt stuck in what to get you. Or maybe it was a budget thing, right?
Yeah.
You know what, maybe I would give you the world if I could, but right now this $9 card was all I could do.
Yeah.
$9 card, dinner, and this experience, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to create a memory,
Yeah.
not just give you something that, in terms of flowers, they're going to die in a week,
100%.
Something that's just material. And so just talking about it, that was the reality. That was the sentiment. And maybe that changes her. She's not so hurt about it. She's like, oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
But again, how that plays out will definitely speak to if we're adequately matched or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. This scenario is very rare. Very rare. I think you said you've been married for how long?
27 years.
27 years. In the beginning of every, like, let's say I'm going out and I'm dating, I'm seeing other women, right? In the beginning, when you're starting to date, these expectations are already brought, and it doesn't even get to that stage to where you're self-reflecting, right? Because a lot of people lack that, I would say, the self-reflection part, right? So a lot of people don't even get to that communication stage while they're dating in the beginning. They're just like, oh, he got me a card. Yeah, he's got to go.
Yes.
I'm on to the next. I'm waiting till I get that guy that's going to bring me a bouquet, that's going to take me out to a 5-star dinner, right? So this brings me back to standards versus expectations. Why is it that a lot of men and women have, I guess, delusional expectations, or not real expectations. Sorry, I don't want to call anybody
Yeah,
delusional, but it is a
maybe
delusion, though.
an over expectation.
Yeah, over expectation.
There's a lot. That's culturally, I think that's kind of a blemish right now,
Yeah.
because dating is not about. Maybe we blame The Bachelor for this, right? Dating is not about these exquisite opportunities or trying to capture your heart through creating these experiences. No, dating is for me trying to figure out who you are.
Mhm.
If you are the kind of person that I can trust, if you're the kind of person I can have fun with, do we like the same things? Do we have the same foundational beliefs? Where are you going in life? Do you want to get on this bus? Because let me tell you where I'm going in life, right? Just that's what it's for. It's feeling you out. But somewhere, this test. when you say expectations, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. It's like there's a test.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Checklist.
And
Right?
it's very often now, and then that's the topic that I was gonna go to is tied to that. But do you think social media has contributed to it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually, as a therapist, have in the last 12 months had such an awakening to the effect of social media on what comes into my room.
Okay, talk to us. I'm very curious here.
Oh, yeah.
Because I go through social media too. I like to see all the things on social media, but what I understand is me watching social media is the equivalent of me turning on ESPN and watching SportsCenter.
Right.
They're going to show me the highlights of every game. I'm going in there to see the highlights. What did Ja do last night? What did Steph do last night? What did, Giannis do?
Yeah.
And I just want to see what was great about it.
Yeah.
The competition,
The
right?
best
But I
plays.
turn off ESPN knowing that there was 60 minutes in that game, and I got to see a 60-second clip.
100%.
There's tons of stuff in there that happened that didn't get mentioned. That's social media. And so people follow personalities or even specialists,
Yeah.
right? You're getting nuggets. You're just getting the nuggets. There's a whole lot of real life happening that we're not seeing. And then some of it's just curated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Don't even get us started on that.
Some of
because,
it is just not even real life. It's just pure entertainment. And so when you try to model your life behind what you see in those 15, 30, 45-second clips, there's no room for everyday normal. There's no room for difficulty. There's no room for, I'm not feeling good today. It's a bad day relationally. Like my boss was an idiot. My mom is on my nerves. Like there's no room for that.
Yeah. Because you're expecting only the happy moments.
Yeah. And you're expecting everything to be film worthy or,
Yes.
like highlight worthy. And that's just not,
It's
that's
the
not where
case.
life is lived. And so I've seen people come in and they're like, I actually had a client tell me one time, I'm kind of, she said something to the effect of not being satisfied with her body and, hating that she has to run, to stay in shape. She's like, but everybody has that. Do they though? In her social media feed, everybody has that. Yeah. Right? But if that's my thinking, then now me and you, we're working on eating disorders, body dysmorphia, because you think what you see on social media is normal. About her body. And she could be a supermodel. I'm like, what are we in here talking about? But her whatever she's watching in social media has her in that headspace where my body needs to be perfect. My body needs to be energized. My body needs to look this way. The waist should be this proportion to the thigh. Like it's just a whole thing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't fit what she sees on social media. Although if I looked at her social media and looked at her, I thought she fit perfectly, but she doesn't see that. Right. And so it's shaping and changing her lens.
A lot of people fall into that trap.
So,
a lot of people. And I think I've had conversations with people where, and even guys, that I've talked to where they think, man, it's because, and this was actually very recently, one of my friends, he told me, Man, it's just I feel bad because I couldn't take my girlfriend to Perry's Steakhouse for Valentine's Day. You know, I told him, dude, why do you feel bad? And he said, well, it's because she's been seeing that it's a really good spot and like everybody goes there. I told her, dude, it's gonna cost you around like $400-$500. Like it shouldn't make it any less just because. And so it goes back to the same thing. You're trying to compare your life to the highlights of somebody else's.
Yeah. And even with that, he said she sees it and everybody goes there. No, the 15 people that she follows on social media go there. There are tons of people in Dallas that have never been to Perry's. Like you say, Perry's Steakhouse, which I love, right?
Yeah.
But you say Perry's Steakhouse, and somebody's like, Perry's who did what? Like some people don't even know it is a thing,
exactly.
right? So it's really social media. The algorithm, of course, feeds you what you look at. Mm-hmm. So you get into this cycle and you can have a whole world built around an idea or an ideology that's not even
100%,
real.
100%.
Because that's all you see in your social media space, but it's not real life. And now you're disappointed with your life. Now something is wrong with you. Now you're out here interviewing guys with this expectations checklist because somebody on social media said, if he doesn't do this, he's not a good man. If he doesn't do this, then he's not, he doesn't love you. And
it's like a 30-day trial.
Yeah.
Do you think there's some truth in what's out there though?
Of course. There's always some truth. But this is like, I don't know, when you think about even the faith walk, this has been happening since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. The enemy knows the truth and he'll give you a little bit of truth and then surround it in a whole bunch of lies and chaos to lure you in. Mm. That's social media, right? Like give you 100%. A little bit of truth. Mm-hmm. Not to say that social media is the devil. I'm not saying that. No. But
it's how you take it. It's how you take it.
You have to dig for it, right? You have to dig for it. And you have to look at what's tried and true. I love to tell people, time is the teller of all truth.
That's true.
That's why consistency is so hard. Because consistency will tell you who I really am. Yeah. Right? Time will tell you. And you asked earlier, can I come out of a 5-year relationship and go into a 6-month dating relationship and be in love and build a marriage for the rest? Yes, you can. Because in 6 months, that's enough space and time to show consistency.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
That's true.
So you're looking for that emotional connection. You're looking for vulnerability, emotional safety. Can we talk? And I have couples, they're like, we talk all the time. And I'll sit there and do some sessions with them. And I'm like, y'all are talking, but you're not talking about the hard things. Right?
Oh, man. It's because it's one of those situations where it's tough. I mean, and I'm sharing this from a place of vulnerability as well, because there's been moments where, and I really like the phrase that you said earlier, you want your woman to make you feel like Superman, right? And there's been moments where I felt on top of the world, and it's almost because of it, it's pushed me to close up my doors and create that wall and, be secluded from maybe even expressing my emotions to my girlfriend. But it's to a point to where I sometimes look back and think, and because, again, being in the relationship for so long, I start looking back and think, man, well, I'm not the same 17-year-old guy that she fell in love with. And so it's almost like, because I saw on social media that, it's because if you've been together this long, you got to make sure she still loves you and all this. So it just starts consuming you back and forth. And so it goes back to this thing. And the word I really want to focus on here is the commitment portion, right? Because I think a lot of the times with the definition of love, there's so many things that can get tied to that, right? But in my personal opinion, I believe that commitment is the biggest representation of love, because a lot of the times, like you said, we can fall into the trap of, I can say the kindest words, the most beautiful words that I can imagine. And there's been marriages I know that they split up, but they never talk bad about the person. They said, no, he always said the right thing. She always said the right thing. But we just stopped clicking. After a while, we just stopped clicking. Mm-hmm. So now it takes me to the next thing. Do you feel that love is more about commitment, more about action, more about emotion, more about the spiritual? I mean, it's because love is, and I know that's very broad, but maybe we can hinder it down to a couple things in your perspective.
To what you just said, yes. Love is commitment. Mm-hmm. Love is a decision. Love is also a feeling. It is an emotion. right? So you love, but then you have to make the commitment to love constantly, like continuously. Um, One of the sayings, I don't even know where I picked it up at, but men tend to get married expecting nothing to change. Women tend to get married expecting everything to change.
I've never heard that. That's
Right.
really interesting.
And what it is like, oh, I love her so much, and I have these, you go in feeling like this is perfect. The way that we relate to one another is perfect. I love her so much, and the way that it is, the way that she relates to me, the way that she cares for me, the way that I care for her, it's always going to be enough. But you're growing year over year. Life is changing. I'm not going to say God forbid, but when you have kids, that changes the dynamic immensely. These crumb snatchers, it's all about them. They don't care about y'all, and all attention goes to them. Yeah. And then now we've forgotten about each other, and we're so worried about these kids and building this family. We don't even have a relationship. We're not even, and so the neglect, the distance, it could happen with children. It could happen with jobs. It could happen with family, just her, she's always tending to her family, or he's always tending to her family. I mean, it doesn't have to be his family. It doesn't have to be separate. It could be cross. But anything that kind of draws your attention, requires time and attention and parts of you, is a threat to your union.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And so love is constantly practicing the same patience and kindness and thinking the best of, giving the benefit of the doubt. Love is where we start, but it's all the other things we've been talking about: communication, intentionality. Those are the things that keep that bond growing, and shared vision. I keep coming back to it.
And I appreciate that you do, because that's so important.
Yeah.
So
That's what really makes love work. Because to your point, you said these marriages will end, and they're like, oh, I don't have a bad word to say about them. We just fell out of love. No, because you're still love. Love isn't always. It's not always that physical, emotional, passionate love. It could be a very much so, I still love them, but we're not husband wife material, right? Yeah. I care about them. Well, that was just a love that didn't get fully nurtured and cultivated. Yeah. Right? The commitment, the intentionality didn't stay intact. Yeah. And so now we've grown apart.
One thing that I've seen online is never stop dating your partner.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So I feel like a lot of couples, once they have kids, they feel like their priorities or their eyes are set on the kids, and then they distance themselves from their partner. Oh, I've seen that a lot of times.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best way to navigate that?
Intentionality. We have date nights. There are rituals of connection, let's just say. It doesn't even have to be as big as date nights. My husband and I, we had our children. Our children are 18 months apart. Okay. One was planned. The other one was the doctors lied to me. Right. So, so they were 18 months apart. Yeah. And it was very tough. When you have two kids in the house under, they're preschool aged and they're that close together, nobody's taking care of themselves. Like, we needed all hands on deck. Yeah. And so you're exhausted, you're not sleeping, you're still working, you're still trying to clean, you're still trying to serve if you're in ministry. We both serve in ministry. Yeah. And so it's okay, let's get these rugrats. We love them. We love our children. Yeah. Let's get our children on a schedule. Like, I think we were the most regimented couple in the world when our kids were that age, because everything had to look the same every day, because children need routine. Yeah. I need them in the bed by 6:30, 7 o'clock. Right? I mean, they're infants. They don't need to be up. So
no, I like that. I like that.
6:30, 7 o'clock. Yes, the sun is still up, but they are in the crib. And as far as they know, it's nighttime. Yeah. Guess what's happening at 7 o'clock? Hey, babe, let's have dinner. Let's watch a movie. Let's play a game. Let's do something. Yeah. Right? So that's our connecting. As our kids get older, they're in our space more. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? In first, second, third grade, they're not going to bed at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Right? So now you have to be really intentional, and keeping them on schedule keeps you connected. Mm-hmm. Like, there can be no pitter patter. I should see no children, no humans that are not my husband after 8 o'clock.
Mm.
You don't have to be asleep, but you cannot be out of that room,
Oh,
right?
I like that.
So, because this is our time, this is adult
Yeah.
time, right? And so I think right now, because of the world we live in and jobs are crazy and traffic, you get off from work at 5, you're not even getting home till 6:30, depending on where you live, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, that's not, we're eating dinner at 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
right? So it gets a little harder. Maybe it's 30 minutes at 10 o'clock doing that daily dialogue.
Right.
Hey, how was your day? How are you feeling about us? Just when can we get some time on the calendar?
Yeah.
Schedule those moments. Texting throughout the day, short phone calls throughout the day, right?
Yeah.
Hey, just checking in, wanted to hear your voice. Or, hey, just checking in because I asked you about the groceries. Did you order them? Just
Yeah.
But checking in, staying connected. I think having your rituals of connection. I started there. Good mornings, running through your day. Hey, what do you got today? This is what it looks like for me.
Wow.
Right. That's a connection point.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving the house. My husband will often joke, I forget stuff all the time. So I'll walk out to the car, but I'm like, oh, I forgot my water bottle. I'll go back in to get my water bottle. I kissed him before I went to the car, but I'm kissing him again because I forgot my water bottle. And so now the joke is, I think you forget things on purpose so you could just get more kisses, right? So it's every time I leave the house, it's a kiss. When he comes home, it's a kiss. When before we go to bed, it's huggy time, or sometimes sex for couples is an issue because life is busy.
Yeah.
I'm like, schedule it.
Ooh.
Put it on the calendar. And they're like, what? We have sex on Tuesday and Thursday night. That doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
Well, if sex is coming on Tuesday and Thursday night, do what you got to do to make it feel natural.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
That's a good
Because you do get that comment where, oh, but then what's the point of it? It doesn't even feel like passionate. Like it doesn't.
Do what you got to do to make it feel like passion.
Yeah.
But it takes the pressure off of, I've had a long day and he sounds like he's feeling frisky, but I've had a long day and now I don't even know if he's gonna. So now he's trying to hold your hand, and you're super hyper vigilant because you don't really have the energy for sex, and he just wanted to hold your hand.
Yeah.
Right. So it takes that away.
Yeah, 100%.
So every couple needs a different solution, but rituals of connection, whether it be eating dinner together every so often or every night. The hello, goodbye ritual, that's a thing. It could be date nights or date cycles.
Yeah.
However that looks, those are rituals. You can almost make a ritual of anything.
Yeah.
Ritual meaning tradition.
Just something you do
Right?
regularly.
Yeah, okay.
It's meaningful for you, right? When our kids were younger, again, going back to when you have kids, that the marriage takes a huge hit when kids get involved. But one of our rituals had to our date night, our Friday night date night turned into Friday night movie night. It was palettes in the living room and the kids loved it, right? They're there, we're doing Disney movies. The movie content changed, but it was still date night, right? So we're doing Disney movies, we're eating junk food, we're in the living room on the floor, and they're loving it. We're building connection with them, but then we also.
Yeah.
Like we're sleeping on the floor. My husband was like, I'm not sleeping on the floor. No matter how soft we made that pallet, he was not getting on the floor, but he'd be on the couch right behind us. And then it's a hand on the shoulder. It's his, running his hand through my hair.
The
We're still
connectivity.
connection.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you have to be intentional about no matter what phase of life you're in.
And I think just being very transparent, it's one of those fears that, I still don't have kids, right? I'm at the point where, marriage is the next step in our relationship, but I fear of how love will look like 25 years down the line, 50 years down the line. So what do you think, or maybe you can give me some perspective, but obviously you've given us some real world life-changing scenarios about how the love changes throughout the years, but from an internal perspective and emotional, spiritual, how has that love changed for you, like with your husband? Or how do you think love changes with a lot of these couples that you look at, where you get the perspective from a 25-year-old versus the perspective of a 50-year-old? So maybe what are some things that you could say of how love will look like 20 years from now?
Okay. The first thing I want to say is you totally control that. When couples come into my office and they're pre-married, I'm like, your future, your marriage, you have a blank canvas right now. Put the brush strokes where you want them to land.
Right.
Like, love in 25 years will look like what you want it to look like. That's the shared vision, right? Know where you're going. So anything that comes up between here and there, you know how to, how to get through it.
Yeah.
Like, if I want a trust, love filled, joy filled relationship in 25 years, then every day I'm making decisions that build trust, not break it.
Yeah.
Right? Every day I'm making decisions that create joy and build memories. Right? So it's about knowing where you're trying to go in 25 years. What I tell people is, if I tell you don't look over your shoulder right now and I'm staring over your shoulder, what are you going to do? You're going to turn around and look over your shoulder.
Right.
Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you want.
That's
Because you're
fair.
going to create what you're looking at.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Even if you're looking at it and you're like, I don't want that. The fact that you're so focused on not creating that, you're going to just create it.
Naturally,
Create it.
it just comes out of nowhere. Yeah.
What would you say is let's do 3. What's the top 3 things why people are going through divorce? Could be 5, but I'll say 3.
Top 3 things?
In this day and age.
I don't even know that it's different. But the top 3 things definitely is self-protection. I'm looking out for me. I forgot to look out for the other guy.
Ooh, okay.
Right? It's not trusting. Like, I can't put his interests first and put him first, which is really what agape love is all about. Right? It's sacrificial. It is selfless. I cannot be selfless if I think you're selfish. So I'm going to protect. I think that's the leading driver, is it's really fear of being hurt. Right?
Ooh, that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the leading driver. So in practical terms, of course, money can be an issue, because money really kind of speaks to what we value.
Yes.
Right? It speaks to our level of self-discipline and self-control. And so if we took away the term money, maybe the issue would be what? Mismatched values
Okay.
or lack of discipline.
Yeah, that makes sense. No,
Right.
100%.
And then third,
Okay. Where does infidelity come into all this?
infidelity it would fall under the putting the other guy first.
Oh, okay.
Because if I'm thinking about what my feeling, whatever the desire is, infidelity is, it happens because there's some unspoken need that remains unmet.
Or do you think it's all the time? That's the case?
All the time. All human behavior is driven by need. Some need. Our emotions often tell us what we're needing, but because we're emotionally unintelligent or ignorant, a lot of times we don't even really know. We can't figure it out, right? But all human behavior is driven by some need. So infidelity is, what is it that you needed? What led you astray? What did you need so badly that you forgot to think about what she needed?
They're only thinking of themselves in that moment, right? Yeah.
Because I've had couples sit in the office, and for the man or the woman, whoever was unfaithful, to hear what it did to their partner, to their spouse, and to watch that emotion and to finally get into that space and sit in that emotion with them. And they're like, I had no idea that I was destroying them like this. Because you can't be thinking about them while you're doing that and still be okay.
Yeah.
It's all about you.
Can I ask you something, LaWanda? What would you tell somebody? I'm pretty sure somebody's already asked you. What would you tell somebody if they were against counseling? That's a big question.
I get husbands
Yeah.
dragged into the
Yeah.
office that are
Yes,
against my
Exactly,
way.
yeah.
There are wives. I have
Yeah.
husbands that come to see me and the wives won't.
Really?
Right? How often do you hear that? Because
That's-
usually it's the other way,
yes,
right?
Yeah, that's pretty
100%.
good.
Yeah, I see men whose wives will not come into the office, or who they were in the office, but because he's struggling to actually show them change outside of the office, they're not coming back. Right.
That's,
That's
they
a big
don't-
one as well.
Yeah. They don't feel like he's doing the work, but there's always a reason why he's not, or why anyone who sits in my room is not doing the work. And part of them coming is for me to uncover what's in the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But ask me the question again. That was
What would you tell somebody that's completely against counseling?
That's what it was.
Yes.
I would want to know, what was their experience with it?
Right.
What causes you to feel that way? What have you heard? What have you experienced? What are you thinking about it? Again, getting people to talk about what are some of the thoughts they have around it can help you understand what their hang up is.
Can we do a little bit of role play right now?
Sure.
I would love to go. So yes, we're having this debate, this conversation, right? I don't believe counseling will help. I feel like we're just gonna go in, and why would I just talk to somebody that I don't know?
And pay for it
Pay for it as well.
at that.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're saying that you don't find value in counseling because someone who doesn't know you is supposed to be able to tell you what's wrong with your relationship, and you are in the relationship, so you should be able to know what's wrong with it.
But why would I care if somebody else's opinions or thoughts on my relationship if what's mine stays between me and my partner?
Okay, I can understand. I can understand that. However, sitting in a counseling room, you have someone who is objective, someone who understands human behavior, because a lot of what you're experiencing is probably just natural human behavior.
Okay.
And I'm able to identify patterns to see what's maybe happening with you and what's happening with her that you all cannot see because you're in it, right? Just my training and then my perspective, the outside perspective could be very helpful in uncovering things that you wouldn't be aware of because they're just so natural for you.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a waste of time.
Okay, how much time do you want to put into running around the same mountain?
Oof.
Is that a waste of
Ooh.
time? How long have you been dealing with this problem?
You see, nah, you're getting me right now. Okay, hold on. I'm still trying to push back. Hold on.
Hey, that got me.
I'm with counseling. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not against it. I am with it, but this is tough. So what would somebody say? I mean, most of the times what I would hear is, oh, it's a waste of time, the credibility, the financial, and I would say the next, I don't know, what would be like the fourth one? I mean, I think those are the top
Yeah,
three
those are the
that I
top,
would
yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm having a conversation with somebody outside, like, hey, like, how do you feel about counseling? I just don't think it's worth it. Yeah. What's going on with me stays between me and them, or why would I pay for something that just to hear them talk and tell me what's wrong? And I feel like a lot of people, that's what they need. You know?
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people.
and it's about finding the right counselor, right? I've had people come to me and they're like, I've been to several different counselors, and I just tell them the way that I work. I am a cognitive behavioral therapist, by the way. So I don't know if you're aware of what that means, but
Yes.
I definitely believe, you have your core beliefs. That's where I'm trying to go to. Sometimes counselors will deal with the symptom,
that's true.
they'll deal with what you're experiencing. I want to deal with, okay, help me understand what you're experiencing. Okay, now let's get to what's underneath what you're experiencing.
The person, yeah.
Because sometimes if we can get to one root, we can actually get rid of a couple of symptoms. We can fix your relationships and we can fix your career drive.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
But all we dealt with is maybe a foundational belief of unworthiness, right?
Yeah.
But you don't think unworthiness is the issue when you come into my office. You think your mom is the issue, right?
Yeah.
So it's really getting to the root cause of what's going on. Sometimes, I have, for men, this is really common. They'll come in and be like, I'm just so angry. I'm always angry. Tell me about it. And so then now it's trigger points. I'm trying to identify, when does this happen?
Yeah.
What's happening? Now, if we can identify the triggers, are they emotional triggers? Are they environmental triggers? Are they relational triggers? Or like there's so many, and they're like, I didn't know there were so many triggers. Like there's so many types of triggers, right? Or it's just getting to the type of injury. Is it an abandonment wound? Is there a rejection wound somewhere? It's getting to it. Everything is pattern.
It is.
And one thing, my husband, sometimes I'll be talking, and I'll be like, man, this couple came to see me today, and it's so interesting. I feel like they're so buttoned up. Like they were so protective of each other and spoke well of each other. But what I expect is going to be the issue is, and I might rattle off a couple things.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back later. I say, babe, remember that couple I told you I was thinking I was going to run into X, Y, and Z? Well, today it came out.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it's pattern.
Yeah.
And that's what I would tell people when they're like, I don't believe in counseling.
Yeah.
It's human behavior. We have an understanding of human behavior. I love neuroscience, by the way. So I'm really into, like Dr. Caroline Leaf is like my woman crush. Her work is thick, right?
Yeah.
You can't just read it in everyday reading, but sometimes it's just listening to people. Even in casual conversation when I'm hanging out with folks, occasionally I have to remind myself I'm just friend right now, right? I don't psychoanalyze them. Don't look for like if I feel like I really need to say something or I have something to say and it feels like it's going to be coachy, I'll ask them if I can coach you right now.
Oh, okay.
Right. So but otherwise it's just try to be girlfriend, but really you can see patterns.
Yeah.
Right. I can identify patterns for myself. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I can identify patterns for my children, for just for the people. If I'm spending time with you, you might call them habits or tendencies, and just not think anything of it. But in habits and tendencies, I'm always, because I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist who loves 100%. Neuroscience, I'm always going to be like,
washing,
core belief.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, what's at the root of that?
Yeah.
LaWanda, it has been a pleasure sitting down. I honestly love this because I'm getting educated at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome.
But yeah, so LaWanda, if you could just let everybody know where they can reach out to you, where they can contact you, find you, where can we find you? Okay.
So I am at Tie It All Together. I know you all found me through another practice, a group practice. I still do work, closely with that team. Well, they've kind of changed a little bit over. But I just recently secured my own space, and
nice, congratulations.
I finalized my license in November, so that's been a journey.
Awesome.
But I'm at tieitalltogether.org, and it's tie it all, like ALL together. So we're looking at the whole person, spirit, soul, and body. So that's the all together. But tieitalltogether.org, you can find me social media, Instagram and Facebook, same thing, Tie It All Together, are my handles. I will leave with you all if I can. I can leave a QR code or my link tree.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. Yeah, that's
perfect.
So
what I do offer is 15-minute consultations for free.
Okay.
And it's just submit the inquiry form. We'll get your profile set up and then get you on the calendar for 15 minutes. And you know about me, if you've heard this podcast, you know a little bit about what I do, but it's giving you a brief introduction of what it means to be CBT. And then I find out what's going on with you.
Perfect.
And really, I start with what's going on with you, and then how I think I can help you is how that goes.
No, I appreciate that.
I love my couples, but I do work with individuals, both male and female.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much.
I want to ask you if you can just leave us off to close off this episode, but one piece of advice, the best piece of advice that you can give to a couple who's struggling right now. Keep it like that's very broad. Yeah, the best piece of advice.
Of course, it's going to be come to see me. If you're struggling right now, take a step back and identify the actual problem. Right? What is causing the problem between the two of you? Identify it, and then talk through it without taking things personal, like leave defensiveness in the corner.
Okay.
But talk through it without taking things personal and try to understand. Get into your significant other's shoes, into their experience. And if we can get some understanding, now we can find that common space. But a lot of times we're so busy defending our position,
Yeah.
and protecting our emotions and our rights, that we can not even be willing to see their perspective.
Yeah. Agree.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for that. And to everybody that's watching, thank y'all for being and staying until the end. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Let's go.